Who gave it in honor of Charles?
Probably Paul. I think Paul.
Cooked tomatoes are very healthy.
For the heart? Or just the prostate? That's good to know.
Healthy.
Good. That's good to know.
Masechet Sukkah, דף מ"ו עמוד א'. דף מ"ו עמוד א'. What did you hear on the news this morning?
Quiet. I mean, not quiet, but
Relative to yesterday, Hashem Yishmor.
Hashem Yishmor, nothing. I mean, they're doing what they have to do, but you don't hear everything, and hopefully only good news, that's all.
Look at תוספות, דף מ"ו עמוד א', העושה סוכה לעצמו.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Remember, we spoke about Shechianu. We see the Tosfot, then the Shulchan Aruch, when Joseph comes and other people.
But how come it says, Rabbi Pragat says, in mine it says, Ha'osa lulav la'atzmo, and then Tosfot says, Ha'osa sukkah la'atzmo.
You're right. You saw the beginning, but the Gemara continues.
Okay.
The time of the Gemara.
Oh, then it goes down. Okay, Ha'osa sukkah. Okay.
Time of the Gemara, every time you made the sukkah, you put the lulav together, you made the bracha. You look at the Safot. העושה סוכה דף מ"ו. העושה סוכה לעצמו מברך שהחיינו. This is the question we are talking 2 days already. צריך לפרש תוספות הוונדרים. פעם, מה ישנה ויש מצוות שתקנו לברך שהחיינו, ויש מצוות שלא תקנו. We already saw in the Rambam's opinion, but remember this is Tosafot. The Rambam's opinion is that any mitzvah that you made, tzitzit, tefillin, the Tosafot are wondering, יש מצוות שתקנו, ויש מצוות שלא תקנו. בעשיית sukkah, when you're building the sukkah, תקנו. Today, when you make the kiddush, the first night of Sukkot, we have in mind the sukkah, but it used to be you make building the sukkah. The lulav, when you put the lulav together before the holiday begins, you're manufacturing the object.
When you go back to building the sukkah, you have to mind.
Today, none of it. No one should say I'm confused. Today, you don't do anything. The Safot are asking based on the Gemara. The Gemara says when you finish the sukkah, not the goy, when you finish the sukkah, you make Baruch Atah Hashem Shechianu. When you make the tefillin Shechianu, when you make the lulav, can you imagine what do you do with the lulav? It's basically tying together. So בעשיית סוכה ולולב תקנו כדאש כחנכה. ובעשיית ציצית ותפילין לא תקנו. The Rambam, of course, disagrees on that. The Rambam says,
Actually, it almost seems like the opposite. When you make the sukkah before Sukkot, it's nothing. It's just a struct. Does it have any value? Same thing with lulav.
This is the chidush.
The tzitzit, when you make the tzitzit, as soon as you make the tzitzit, it has a
But
value.
the chidush is, this is what Joseph also said, you're making the sukkah before, and you say Shechianu, obviously you're making it with the kavanah to sit in the
I understand, but
sukkah.
at this moment, when you're saying Shechianu, it's just a hut.
Look,
Right.
This is exactly what I'm wondering. Look at Tosafot there. Tosafot are wondering how come the Gemara here in Masechet Sukkah in Daf Vav says, okay, I mean, look at first at the 5th line of the Gemara. Look on top. Here, Joseph. Ha'oseh sukkah la'atzmo, ha'oseh sukkah, oseh.
Yeah.
You're building the
You're building
sukkah,
a swama baruch shachim.
אומר שהחיינו, נכנס לישב בה, אומר שהקדישנו מצוותיו וציוונו לשב בסוכה. Okay, we, by Kiddush, having in mind every year before I make Kiddush the first night, I say I have in mind the sukkah
Like I
also.
said, I would have this question.
Right,
I would
right,
have this question on making the sukkah. It
Right.
seems more practical what we do now. Now the sukkah has kedusha. Now we make the shachriya.
Right, and the Gemara is saying the same balulav, but you put the lulav together. Remember, we buy for the $45, whatever we buy, but in the Gemara, you buy the lulav by itself. You have the other sim, you tie it together, you say Shechiyanu before Yom Tov. The same question. Okay, Tosafot say by Tefillin you don't make. So they bring a raya, okay. Skip 2 lines in Tosafot. וכמו כן, יש לדקדק שהחיינו נמי לא מברך, מזה לא חשיב, והגמרא doesn't mention שהחיינו בתפילין. וכן, הפדיון הבן מברך שהחיינו. גם בפדיון הבן, everyone knows, כי דהית בסוף הרבה פסחים, ואילו המילה לא מברך. בספות opinion, שדון זה ברכה בלי תפילה. Rambam says yes, the Sfaradim and the Shulchan Aruch go yes. Tosafot say openly. Pidyon Ben, yes, it's a Gemara.
Saad,
Whatever, but Tosafot are wondering.
If the father or the Mohel is doing it for the first time, does he do it or?
According to Tosafot, you never say Shechiyanu, by Brit Milah, Sephardic custom is by every Brit Milah. I'm from Yerushalayim, in Yerushalayim we do by every Brit Milah, the Ashkenazim. Not the Hasidim. My first son, I didn't know that in America the Ashkenazim don't make Shechiyanu, and I made Shechiyanu. The Mohel quietly says, "You have the second son, don't say the Shechiyanu because here this was Rabbi Zimmerman. Told me here, the Sfaradim do." He said, "But we don't. Here, this is the Tosfot. We don't." מדלוך השיב לה בפרק התחלת, ובסוף רב לזר דמילה, והד הברכות של מילה. See the Safot, if you know the style of Tosfot, the text based. The Gemara tells us openly the brachot of Brit Milah, the Gemara doesn't mention the Shechiyanu. וכן, קריאת מגילה, מברך Shechiyanu. קריאת בריש הקורא מגילה עומד, the Gemara openly says Shechiyanu. ואילו הקריאת הלל, you think about it? Remember, the Hallel of Rosh Chodesh doesn't count. Here, you're saying on Chanuka, you say on Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, and Chanuka, Rosh Hashanah. Venire, remember this is the opinion of Tosfot, the Rambam disagrees. But we were trying to find a way to understand yes, no. Venire, the mitzvah sheyesh alea simcha, tiknu she'achiyanu. See, Joseph, this is the key word. The concept today, are we excited having mitzvah? You remember we spoke yesterday, we'll see in a minute. It's difficult today to, I mean, you know, I'm talking about, I'm using just an example, yes? You're giving your kids, I'm talking about school, kids spend today with a credit card as if the father owns the bank, not only there's a, so the end of the year, Joseph, tens and tens of expensive jackets, expensive. I left in school. There was always a son. Please make sure. No one. The answer is, I have a credit card. So you understand, but in the older times, I used to have a fellow in my blog. His name was Rabbi, in a minute. He writes in the introduction of his first book, it is the happiest moment in my life. Happiest means it was a year without any garments during the Holocaust hiding. He had only an undershirt. And the minute an American soldier gave him pens, he says, I never ever felt what a shirt is. I mean, no, but he writes it in the book. Again, because I'm for a year a dignified man sat with a bikini, you know what I mean? So the same is by us. We don't miss
So what is the
anything.
Beracha Batala limit here? Because I take pleasure if I buy a new tie.
Joseph, in a minute you will see that if you really feel happy, you should say it.
But it's
But remember, Tosafot are talking about mitzvot.
right, yeah, I was about to say, so
Eli-
we Tosafot would
Eli-
say it on
Eli-
a garment.
Eli is right. Tosafot here are discussing mitzvot. Tzitzit, Sukkah, Lulav. So Tosafot are saying, mitzvah sheyesh alea simcha tiknu, shechian. Now Tosafot are asking, ודאמרינן בהרואה, the Gemara says in ברכות, זה מברך על כלים חדשים. You make שהחיינו, if you buy new garments, a suit, כתב רב שריר הגאון, 1200 years ago, זה לא סמכין על עולם. He says, תוספות opinion is, you don't say שהחיינו new garments, in a minute. ומזכינן בפרק בכל מערבין, the Gemara says in a the Be'inan Midi, the Atem Mizman Mizman. The Tosafot now are saying that there are two components to the Shechian. A, you feel good. B, Ba'im Mizman Mizman. Ba'im Mizman Mizman. This is Tosafot. According to Tosafot, you buy a new suit, expensive suit, you don't say. Now take the Shulchan Aruch here. Look in Shulchan Aruch, Orach Chaim, Siman 223. According to the according to support, you know. But look, you follow Maran. Reish, look, I have, take the book. We have more books here. Reish Chav Gimel. You just take one.
My library.
Listen here. So as if this is the. This is really the top here. So look and see if Gimel 223. Larry, see if Gimel.
Thank you.
We have a machloket in the Gemara on the kelim. So Tosafot must
The
have an
Gemara
opinion.
says no. The Gemara says yes.
So then have
According to
Tosafot
Rav
say
Shrir
no.
HaGaon, no, Gaon, the machloket הסוגיות.
Okay, so it's a machloket. Yes, what to rely
ככה
on.
הוא אומר. This is serious. Rav Shrir HaGaon is not quoted too many times, and Tosafot said this is. Here, Joseph, remember, this is Shulchan Aruch, yes. That was for now. We know the Rambam. 223. Reish Chav Gimel. Bana bait chadash, or kana kelim chadashim, Joseph. You build a new house, or you buy new garments.
Kelim could be
No, kelim,
kitchen things.
kelim is that's kitchen. First of all, kelim, if yes, your wife. So, but anyway, kelim in the Gemara, garments are kelim also.
So new thing for the kitchen, that excited vacuum machine I bought for the house. I'm excited.
I told you again that Rabbi Feinstein told his neighbor, I said Chechianu, my wife bought a new coffee table, so to say. Should I say it? And I have a much nicer table than whatever he had, yes. My wife is very happy, it fits perfectly, she's a designer, everything fine. For me, it's a table. Especially if you cover it all the time with good tablecloth, because it's so expensive, you cannot have a scratch. And you, so you pay a fortune. But you have to cover it, you know.
Rabbi
nice,
Prague,
nice table, yes.
Rabbi Prague, when you moved into your house for the first time, did you make a shechianu?
No, but this is, I don't own it. This was owned by my in-laws.
No, when you owned it, when you got it.
No, but I did not. No, in the house not. No. No, look a second. בכלים חדשים, אפילו turn the page, אפילו היה לו כיוצא בהם בתחילה. I have a suit, I bought a new suit. או קנה וחזר וקנה, מברך כל פעם שהחיינו. Here Joseph, you see, the Shulchan Aruch. Joseph, the Shulchan Aruch says it openly. Yes, you do it. Again, now let's look at the Mishnah Berurah. Look at second Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah Yud Aleph. It's needless to say that we talk near a house that you bought to live in, not to flip over or to make money. This is buy it or suit that you buy והוא הדין, משנה ברורה says י"א, אם קנה בית, שולחן ערוך says בנה, obviously if you build it, the excitement is much bigger, yes? But even if you bought it, והוא הדין, אם קנה בית, דווקא כשבנה או קנה לעצמו, אבל אם יש לו שותפות בגבה לפי איזה פרטנר, כל אחד מהשותפים מברך הטוב והאמיתי, we're not going into it now, any ברכה that any excitement I share with another person, ברכה is הטוב והאמיתי. טוב והאמיתי is similar to שהחיינו. If you look at the opposite, you look at סעיף א', ירדה אשתו זכר, מברך הטוב והאמיתי.
Because they're both.
הטוב והאמיתי is the husband and the wife.
Because they shoot film.
Believe it or not, I know it's said, but read the Ramah just for the point. Remove your heart from it. Beimeta Ishto, his wife died at birth, but she left him with a baby. And what? And the baby. You realize why? When the baby was born, it's an excitement for the husband and the wife. If she would make it, a tov, others are not, I mean, many people are happy in the family, but the concept, okay? Okay. Remember, ladies used to die of birth. Yes. Look, go back to the Shulchan, to the Mishnah Berurah.
Back in Gimel?
Yeah, back in Mishnah Berurah, but Mishnah Berurah Yud Aleph. Look how far he goes. Kahal. שבנו או קנו בית הכנסת, can you imagine, Rani? When שערי ציון was inaugurated, יעמוד שליח ציבור ויברך בקול רם הטוב והאמיתי. The Chazan, the first time the Kahal used the dome, Chazan should have said הטוב והאמיתי.
Why when I make Hagefen, and sometimes I drink wine after, I make Hatov V'Nativ?
This is Simana. Chachamim established also, if you make, let's say, Kiddush on one type of wine, then you go to another one and a Tov Ametiv.
I think we don't say Shem Hashem though, generally in that way.
It depends which wines that George will drink, because we're not sure always, you like, the second one is a better wine.
And it's a fixed situation.
If you go to Mal's house, you go from good to better.
Mal, for sure, you make the.
But the main reason was, in the time when Arugei Beitar was given to be buried, this is the bracha tova, it has to do with wine. Okay. But let's go. It says, Bait Chadash, hu adinim nisraf v'chazar b'nao. He had a house, the house was on fire, he rebuilt it. Which means he wants to say, even though I had a house here, the house that I have now is a new house. Same as I said before about the suit. I have a suit, but a new suit. You see, Joseph, again, you said that even on a tie you are happy. Today, very few people can say you feel. No, I felt it when I opened it. I drove such a car that every day in the car drove was a Nes Chadash. Didn't drive because yesterday. Every day you tell me it works. I opened the door and I said, and I said to the car. No, but I'm embarrassed to say, I'm very happy also. To say happy. I need a suit, I buy a suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's because you have a 2023 sensibility. Years ago, to get a suit, how many suits?
No, I agree with you.
How many suits did you have in Yerushalayim, Rabbi Prague?
I agree with you. For Pesach, every 2 years to get a new pair of pants.
That's right. Thank you.
I'll tell you a story, quick story. When I was younger, my older brother and my mother used to take us to get suits together for Pesach. And one year, my brother said, I'm sick and tired of getting the same suit as Ronnie. I'm going to go get my own suit. He went to someplace in the city. We both came back with the same suit.
Was it Turtle?
My brother Bobby came with the same suit.
I had a fellow in my shul. He's one of the biggest scholars in America, in the world. He told me, listen carefully, he told me I grew up in a little village in Poland. He says, my parents were so poor, every Erev Pesach, when every kid says, look, I have new shoes and new pants, I never ever said, because this, I never ever got anything new for Pesach. And he says to me, tell you the truth, I was upset. I was a kid. Smile. He becomes a teenager, he went to learn in Shiva and Baranovich, he learned 5 years. So now he's 18, very poor boy, he has to make a decision. Should he go to Yale, which is Yeshivat Mir, or MIT, which is Yeshivat Carmel? It's the two biggest yeshivot. She says to me, the reason I chose to go to Mir because they gave poor boys $2 a month.
Financial incentive.
After he finished it, I never forget, I'm shaking now. He grabbed me and he starts to cry. He says, you know why I made the decision to move? Because in communists, everyone was killed in the Holocaust.
They are what?
Everyone was killed in the Holocaust. And Hashem says, Aaron Kaiser, you are the only survivor of your family. Go to me. He's sobbing. Says to me, you remember when I was crying at the new Pesach? I had to be poor because I had to make a decision to go to me.
Wow, to save his life.
But here it is. I know you have to know the money. He was sobbing. He says to me, do you know what we? And I was upset. How come everyone has this? All those who
They saved his life.
basically, he said. But you know, it takes many years of experience in life to look at it this way. This is Larry what he says. He says for him, every pair of pants.
Rabbi Prague, do you know how many people come to my grandmother's tzedakah this time of year? You have no idea. Thousands and thousands of coats. They give out free, so because kids don't have a coat, a new coat.
You take a coat, you take a suit for your kids. It's a big. His family runs it.
Is that the place, Bobby's place, is it?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's my grandmother.
בנה בית חדש או קנה כלים חדשים, so look further the Mishnah.
Just to be sure about a house, somebody had a fire and bought it to get a new house, but somebody
says
sells a house and buys a new house. It's the same thing. A new house, it's the same thing. Whether he bought and sold it, it's not the first house, it could be second or third house, but he's still excited about it.
What about if he just renovated the park? What about if he renovated?
Joseph built something about personality. He's happy with it.
Anybody's happy, but 2 seconds later you forget
Yeah,
about it.
I'll give you an example. Joseph, I'll give you an example. I have in my house thousands, the best thousands books. Every time I buy, I'm definitely happy. When I went to Russia in 1988, I delivered a set of Sfat Emet, 3 volumes to a doctor in Moscow. I'll never forget it. It's Friday afternoon. I came with a few boys. He takes the books. Hashem, thank you for giving it to me.
Look at that.
I mean, I was jealous. I mean, Sfarim, this particular Sfarim, Hashem, thank you. I remember it like now.
And now you look at your own copy.
I used to buy bags of books. I used to go to the bookstore.
It's a very gray area. Like
This is not as a content. It's not gray. It's a relative. This is exactly the point. You feel it by the suit.
on something which is so vague and so personal.
In a minute. כלים חדשים, look in משנה ברורה י"ג, כלים חדשים. Here Joseph, בין מלבושים הגרמנטס, ובין כלי תשמיש ושתייה ואכילה. Joseph, do you know the type of china you have, Joseph? Tell you my wife china, the Moj. When we bought it, the set was 200 today, 2,000 set means for one. The answer is, by me, it's the food. Paper plate and the Moj china is exactly the same. The fact that I have the cutlery from sterling silver because someone gave it to me, what's the difference if I eat silver or plastic? And normally plastic doesn't break, it is. No, but the answer is that's me. For my wife, the table is not a table unless you have the Moj china. I mean, you sit at the table. Oh.
But maybe if we feel better on Shabbat when you put it out.
Correct. Shabbat, you're never allowed to eat paper plate. Shabbat is Shabbat. But this is the point, Eli. This is the point. To show that Shabbat is special.
My original rule of thumb, which I think I learned from Tanya, called the suit for sure she handled. But you buy a pair of pants, or a shirt or even a sweater, it's not like a big deal. So that's pretty much the rule of thumb I've been using, whatever it's worth.
And you are correct. Look what he says now. Look,
Right,
Joseph.
you don't shop where Mel shops.
Oh, wow.
Look a
Why
second.
is
Look a
your shirt
second.
$600?
He says, even if it's utensils, Joseph, even if it's utensils, אם הם דברים שלב האדם שמח בהם. He leaves it exactly the way Rani said. אם הם דברים שלב האדם שמח. שמח means you really feel עני בראוי לו. Obviously if the man is poor, relatively this idea makes him happy. ועשיר בראוי לו. You know, sometimes they give in school to kids who are learning to the book. I mean, the eyes are like that. I wish I used to go to, I have bags and books to walk out of the store. והעשיר בראוי לו. אכן, אם הוא עשיר גדול, שאפילו כלים יקרים וחשובים אינם נחשבים. If you have, thank God, a lot of money and whatever you buy, yeah, have money. ואין שמח בהם לא יברך. Now look at this, ובקניית ספרים, who asked yesterday, books, יש דעות בין האחרונים, אם יברך עליהם. Why? משום דמצוות לאו ליהנות. Remember we used it many times? The fulfillment of a mitzvah, the book, many years ago, Larry Chacham Ovadia Yosef was a parliament meeting, and Chacham Ovadia Yosef honored it, and he came 10 minutes early and he said to the host, do you have any book, any Jewish book? He didn't have one Jewish book.
Wow.
And his son whispers to him, have a Chumash Vayikra. He was a junior in Flatbush. He gave it to the rabbi. The guy went to a store, said, send me a book. Books.
Yeah.
He was so embarrassed. A man like this wouldn't make Shechianu. He needed it because I need a book. It's a book. Yes. He says the Chayei Adam, if it's a book that you are looking for, V'sameach b'kliyato, v'mevarech.
Why don't you make Shechianu and giving tzedakah if it makes you happy?
This is a good question.
It's continuous.
שהרי ברכה זו נתקנה על השמחה ולא על התשמיש. See, this is the key here. The bracha of Shechianu is and the happiness that you have in your heart, not in the usage of the item. You understand?
So tzedakah is a good one, but you say it's nen shalom nitnu lehanot. That's the problem.
I'm going to look, but remember, the same question, you realize that by tzedakah you have the question also, why don't you make a bracha before you give the tzedakah? All the Rishonim, the Rashba, all the Rishonim.
Famous question.
Tosfot is rejecting all of this, right?
Correct.
All
You
this is
realize it,
rejected.
Tosfot disagreed with everything, no? Tosafot said that Rav Shri Gaon, which is 1200 years ago, this is, you don't bring it every day, this is also, no?
Tosfot doesn't mention you baking matzah before. What's the difference between building the sukkah, baking matzah?
By the Hasidim, believe me, those Hasidim will be with bake matzah at first. Some of them, and you come to the baking place, they are jumping.
No, forget about being happy. He's saying when you build the sukkah, he says you should
Oh,
say
you mean according to
because it's a mitzvah.
you
So
mean
I'm
according
saying,
Eli is saying, let's say when they say Shechianu are building the sukkah, putting the lulav, most likely it is matzah too. Every time you prepare an item of mitzvah. But remember, the Rambam Halacha L'Maaseh says it. So not to be confused, each one of us, if you really feel, as you said before, it's a very gray area, again, because of the circumstances that we live in, yes.
Could the Mohel, the father of the Ben doesn't make the bracha of Shechianu by the Ashkenazim.
Definitely the Mohel.
Could he?
In the Sephardic Brit Milah, the Mohel says only Ala Milah, and the father says, L'achniso b'vrito shel Avraham Avinu, and Shechianu. By us also, in Ashkenazic Brit Milah today, the Mohel says Ala Milah, and I say L'achniso.
Who says Shechianu?
By Ashkenazim, there's no Shechianu, but the Shechianu, you're right, the Shechianu, the father says. The only
why is the
difference.
father saying Shechianu there?
What?
Not upon Tosfot. Why is the father saying? Because he's happy. He can't be happy at the time that they have the milah. The baby's crying. He sees the blood. He's
This is what Eli is saying is Tosafot. The Rishonim say because of Tzara de Chanuka. I never forget when my oldest son, the Brit, And my heart was.
Yeah, I mean, how do
You
you
hold,
say,
you hold,
yeah,
you hold the
so-
baby, but it's first son. You feel it,
Yeah, it's okay.
No. I did, and I said, Shechian only. Okay, well, we'll stop. We have to come
Thinking
back.
back.
I'm going to check and it's what like the account.
Thinking
Interesting
back.
things I never saw here.
Many years ago, my father-in-law on a big occasion, it was my 25th anniversary, I turned 50, my father gave me a very expensive watch. I should have said she had at the
This,
time.
this is
I didn't,
exactly.
I didn't realize.
This is
I still wear
exactly-
it every time I look.
Yeah,
the
you
watch
see
is
here.
bigger than-
Yeah, this is it. This is it. No, but this is it. You told me this is a good example. It says a watch. Would you say it? This is a. Would you say?